Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to psysigns, where we decode behavior and help you build emotional clarity. Let's talk about the modern dating battlefield, your phone, a place where connection is built and destroyed. You can have amazing chemistry in person, only to feel it fizzle out over text. Because texting isn't just communication, it's a stage where your subconscious habits perform. And sometimes, without even realizing it, you're performing a tragedy that kills attraction. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the psychology of digital connection and avoiding the common, silent mistakes that make you seem less interesting, less secure, and less attractive. If you've ever felt a conversation go cold and wondered, "What did I say?" This is for you. Here are the texting habits that kill attraction and what you're probably doing wrong. Habit 1. The novel-length message, the overinvestment bomb. This is the cardinal sin. You get excited, you have a lot to say, and you send a paragraph or 3, pouring out your thoughts, feelings, or reactions to something they said. Meanwhile, their last message to you was, "Yeah." The imbalance is deafening. What you're doing wrong, you are pouring 10 gallons of energy into a 1-gallon bucket. It shows a lack of social calibration. It screams, "I've been thinking about this way more than you have," which comes off as needy and intense. It also puts immense pressure on the other person to match your energy and depth, which can feel like homework. They see that wall of text and think, "I don't have the mental energy to deal with this right now," and the conversation dies. The fix: mirror their energy, then lead by one step. Match their message length and tone roughly. If they send short, playful texts, keep yours short and playful. If you want to deepen the conversation, add one thoughtful question or comment to your mirrored response. Let the depth build gradually together. Habit 2. The double or triple text of anxiety. They haven't replied in a few hours. Your mind spirals. Did I say something wrong? Are they with someone else? So you send a follow-up, a joke, then maybe a question mark or a "everything okay?" This is the digital footprint of neediness and anxiety. What you're doing wrong, you are broadcasting your insecurity in real time. You're teaching them that their silence has the power to unsettle you, which gives them all the power and makes you look unstable. It feels invasive and clingy. You're no longer a fun, intriguing person to talk to. You've become a source of low-grade pressure and obligation. The fix: the one-and-done rule. Send your message. Put your phone down. Go live your life. People are busy. Phones die. Energy levels change. If they're interested, they will reply. Your ability to be patient and not spiral is, in itself, a display of confidence that is incredibly attractive. Habit 3. The constant, low-value checking in. Hey, what you doing? This is the slow death by 1,000 paper cuts. Your texts lack substance. They're just pings for attention. Hey, what's up? How was your day? Every single day. There's no thread, no momentum, no reason for the conversation to exist. What you're doing wrong, you are making yourself boring and predictable. You're not offering anything of value, a story, an interesting thought, a funny observation. You're just putting the entire burden of creating an interesting conversation on them. Over time, your name popping up on their phone starts to feel like a chore, not a delight. The fix: text with a purpose or a punch. Share something specific from your day. "You won't believe what my boss just did." Send a funny meme related to an inside joke. Ask an unusual, open-ended question. "What's the weirdest thing you believed as a kid?" Make your text something they want to open. Habit 4. The instant reply. You're always on call. You reply within 10 seconds, every time, no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Your phone is in your hand, waiting. What you're doing wrong, you are signaling that you have nothing else going on, that your life revolves around your phone and, by extension, them. It completely removes all mystery and makes you seem readily available 24/7, which paradoxically lowers your perceived value. Attraction needs a little tension, a little wonder. Being constantly available kills that. The fix: create natural space. Let some texts breathe for 15 minutes, an hour, or a few hours, not as a manipulative game, but as a natural consequence of you being engaged in your own life. It shows you're a busy, interesting person whose time is valuable. When you do reply, be fully present in your response. Habit 5. The passive-aggressive or vague testing message. These are the messages designed to provoke a reaction rather than communicate. I guess you're busy with better people. Seen. With no follow-up. Fine, do whatever you want. What you're doing wrong. This is emotional manipulation. It's immature, creates instant drama, and shows you lack the emotional intelligence to communicate your needs directly. I felt a bit overlooked when you canceled last minute. It makes you seem volatile, high maintenance, and exhausting. It kills attraction and replaces it with annoyance. The fix: use clear, direct, I feel statements if you're upset. Or, if you're not that invested, simply disengage from the conversation gracefully. Attraction thrives on positivity and safety. Passive aggression destroys both. Habit 6. Overusing abbreviations, poor grammar, and the single K. While being casual is fine, consistently looking like you can't be bothered to spell out you, or use a period comes across as lazy, low effort, and unintelligent. The dreaded single K, in response to something they shared, is an attraction assassin. It's the digital equivalent of a dismissive eye roll. What you're doing wrong: you're communicating disrespect and disinterest. Texting is, for better or worse, a primary showcase of your communication skills. Sloppy, dismissive texts make it seem like you don't value the conversation or the person you're talking to. The fix: put in the bare minimum respectful effort. Use proper punctuation. Spell out words. If you're agreeing, try okay or sounds good. The K should be reserved for when you're actually truly annoyed, and even then, it's better to just not text. Habit 7. Using texting as your primary emotional venting tool. You have a bad day, a fight with a friend, a moment of deep insecurity, and you immediately dump it all into a text stream to your crush or new partner. What you're doing wrong: you are misusing the medium. Heavy, negative emotional dumping over text is overwhelming and impossible to respond to effectively. They can't hear your tone, give you a hug, or read your body language. It just lands as a heavy, confusing burden. It frames you as a source of drama and instability, not as a potential fun, supportive partner. The fix: save the heavy lifting for calls or in person. Use text to set up those conversations if needed. Had a rough day, could use a friendlier later if you're free? This is respectful of their emotional space and shows you understand healthy boundaries. The core of all these fixes is the same. Text like a busy, happy, interesting person who is genuinely interested in getting to know someone, not like someone whose entire emotional state depends on the next notification. Your texting habits should reflect the confident, complete person you are or are becoming, not the anxious, seeking version of you. Master this, and you won't just keep attraction alive over text, you'll build it. I want to hear from you. Which of these habits is your biggest guilty pleasure? Or what's a texting ick you have that we missed? Spill the tea in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, because here at psysigns we're building emotional clarity one truth at a time. See you in the next one.